Welcome back to the channel, guys. Our big trip has been delayed again. So what now? Follow us to find out.
I'm taking my chances along with my dreams.
If you have been following our channel in the last weeks, you will know that we've been making a lot of changes. So we have been planning a trip across the world. We've been planning to go to Asia and Europe for several years now. We were just looking for the right year, the right time, and we originally planned to go in January. But then, as you know, we decided to buy a little house. You know, it was available. It's like perfect for us. The timing wasn't right, but we knew if we gave up on that opportunity, you know, right then, there wouldn't be one like that coming along. The house has an RV pad. It's just perfect for us. So we went ahead and pulled the trigger on that, and we pushed our trip up a little bit. Well, then we decided to sell the RV. As you know, if you saw our last videos, we sold our beloved RV. I'm super happy with, you know, the couple who bought it. And I know that, you know, our RV found a really good home. But yes, I was really sad. I was down and a little depressed for a few weeks because that RV took us on an amazing ride. 4 years. We enjoyed it so much, and no matter where we went, when we would come back home into our warm, cozy RV, I absolutely loved that RV. And yes, I was super sad when we sold it. Happy and sad, mixed emotions. But anyway, all that being said, we have been pushing our trip to Asia back like every week, because we wanted to complete after we found buyers for the RV. My honey was working, you know, all the time to find a buyer. He was, you know, putting the ads out on the RV. He did a really great job, and we found the buyers like locals, so it really worked out good. You know, he could drive the RV right to their house, and so. But now he's trying to get the whole deal sealed and everything signed off, and it keeps getting pushed back. You know how paperwork and everything goes, keeps getting pushed back every week. And we didn't want to pull the trigger on the tickets until all this was completed. I don't know about you. Do you guys book your tickets like way ahead? Because yes, we are planning a big trip and we haven't bought our tickets yet. So my honey, he does check the tickets like every day. The prices has remained the same, but we keep pushing it back because until the paperwork is signed, sealed, and delivered, he's not comfortable with, you know, pulling the trigger onto the tickets. We have everything now settled with our house, and we moved everything in, and in that regard, we're like ready to go. In fact, I have the suitcases just ready to pack. So tell us, when you go on a trip, are you plan way in advance, or kind of like us where you have a plan without a plan? Because like I said, we've been planning this for years, but no, we don't have anything firmed up yet. And we did this for the 4.5 years that we RV traveled. You know, we'd book one park and we'd stay and we'd, you know, decide where we're going next, book the next park. And it always worked out. I mean, we very often have to pivot with like almost everything in life. And we are pivoting with this big trip. So, and are we upset or disappointed? No, we just, you know, keep living our everyday life and enjoying, you know, the town that we're into right now, and enjoying our little house while we're here. Oh, look at it. The squirrels and the trees up here. But it's a little bit, you're not sure when to plan because it's still very much up in the air. So let us know in the comments if you would have pulled the trigger on the tickets or if you would do like us and wait. So we are going to wait a few more days until next week, into next week. And as soon as, my honey signs on the dotted line and signs the RV over, I think we'll have the computer open next to the signature and we will hit the purchase onto the tickets. So our first stop is going to be Dubai. We had this map when we lived down on the beach. We had a condo down on the beach. We had a much larger wall and we had this in storage. No, it was never RV friendly. So when we took it out to storage, I thought how appropriate. And although our house is small, small walls, this worked out just perfect. And we used to sit and look at this map and plan that we wanted to go across to Asia. We wanted to explore Thailand and Asia, and then we wanted to explore Europe before we came back home. And since we've been slow traveling in the RV and I work remotely, and we figured out I worked from the Caribbean for months, that I could work from anywhere. The only difference is I will have to work at night because of the time change, but I'm mentally prepared for that, so that's okay. And because we slow travel, we go for a long time. We don't just go for a few weeks. We're going for like 8-9 months because I work during the week. So we explore on weekends and usually nights, but now we'll explore the days and I'll work at night. So that's why we slow travel. Now I know the tickets is a big cost, flying across, but once you get there, living there is super inexpensive. So we discovered that we could live there for months, less expensive than we could live here. And that's where this whole idea came from, planning this big trip across the world. But now that it's getting pushed back a little bit more, we might go back. We would go back to Europe a lot quicker than we'll go back to Thailand, and Bali and those areas. Although if we fall in love with it, who knows? We did that with the RV. When we fell in love with places, we would just park up and stay there. So if we fall in love, we'll probably go back. But we thought we're going to extend the time in Asia. So we had a cruise booked in June, the first week of June, and we canceled that cruise because we were getting all stressed out that, we kept pushing this trip up and the window of time into Asia was closing in smaller and smaller. And we figured we would quicker go back to Europe than we would go back to Asia. So we canceled our cruise and we were going on a cruise, meeting friends and doing that. So that was a little bit sad, but we knew that we didn't want to rush through Asia because we're going to several different countries. So instead of coming back to Europe for the 1st of June, we probably won't come back to Europe until like August. We want to be there definitely the first part of September. So that's kind of like our tentative plan. And what we're doing now is still planning every day. We're looking at hotels and so, but we haven't booked anything because we're not sure the dates. When we first started looking at going to Dubai, we thought Dubai was super expensive because you hear about all the expensive hotels and the rich people and the mega yachts and all these things, which made me think it was expensive. But just like you are looking at our YouTube channel, we look at, YouTube channels. We follow people, and I followed a couple that went to Dubai on $100 a day. Their budget was $100 a day, and I was like, wow, well, we don't live here for $100 a day. So I thought, well, originally we were going to stay in Dubai for a few nights just to break up the trip. From Miami to Dubai is 14 and a half hours, and then on to Thailand is like 6 hours. So we thought we would stop there, and Dubai has always been on our list. So although it's all man-made, it looks fascinating. And there's so many things to explore there. So now that we found out how affordable it is, we're going to stay longer into Dubai. And also, I've been seeing Abu Dhabi and all these amazing, mosques into Abu Dhabi. And we've decided Abu Dhabi is only like an hour and a half drive from Dubai. We've decided that we're going to spend a couple days in Abu Dhabi as well. So I'm so happy that we didn't like book everything ahead of time, because as we change plans, our plan without a plan, this gives us the flexibility to make those changes. And we did this in our RV life and it worked just fine. So we figure we can do it in our international travel as well. And I know people book like way in advance. We had booked our cruise like a year in advance. But thankfully we were able, we canceled it like on the last night that we were able to cancel it. So it worked out and it took the pressure off from us. Like we had to hurry. We're going to have to hurry through Asia. And so, but I know some people think we're like nuts. We're about to go on this big trip and we haven't booked the tickets as yet. And, a lot of people, if they're going on a weekend getaway, they book like way in advance. But that's not us. My honey does the research. He figures all these things out. But we don't pull the trigger right away. So now we're going to stay in Dubai probably a couple weeks so that we can explore Abu Dhabi as well. But when are we going? We don't know. Not until the paperwork is signed and the deal is completely sealed onto the RV. That is when we will pull the trigger. We will hit that, purchase button onto the tickets to Dubai. And I'm pretty sure when we go into Dubai that we will have to have our ticket leaving, because they probably will not let us enter unless we have a time to leave. So when we book one, we will book to Thailand as well. But what are we doing in the meantime? We're still planning and preparing. I'm shopping and buying stuff that, travel friendly. We're buying clothes that can fold up really small. We're getting all our camera equipment together, toiletries, good travel toiletries, things we need, we checked on. So our family said, don't forget to check and see if you need any shots before you leave, any vaccines. And so now there is a list of recommended vaccines, but we have had all those vaccines, so we're good with that. We don't need a visa, so most of the big things that we need to know about this big trip, we already have in orders. So now the next thing is only to get the RV finalized, and then we will be ready for this big trip. So that is what's next. So next week, I will be sharing with you how we're packing, preparing for our big trip, what we're taking along with us. And keep your fingers crossed that we will be that far, that we will get the paperwork finished next week, that deal seal signed and delivered, and we will be able to pull the trigger on those tickets, and I'll be able to share the next step, our packing for our big trip across the world. But this inspires me every day, because this is in our guest room / office, and it's right at my right hand. It's one of my favorite things into the house. So I'm inspired every day looking at this. So pushing back the trip, are we sad or disappointed? No, we just push it back like by a week. Every week we just push it back a little bit. But yeah, now March, this is 3 months. Every week has pushed it into 3 months. But no, we're not like disappointed or upset at anything. It just makes the excitement grow more every single day. And I hope that your excitement is growing with ours, because I'm going to share this entire trip with you. You know how much I like to share good things. So you will be seeing step by step as we go across the world. And we will be sharing tips and pointers with you. If you plan a trip like this, whatever we can share with you, we will be doing. So thank you guys for watching this, hang until the end. And we are looking forward to seeing you next week.